it's just so great, you know, like,
What'd she say?
oh, he was a guy.
What were you guys talking about?
Well, he was talking about this one book, and it's about this book about this lady who had like mental illness of her own. She was on all kinds of medication and everything. Eventually she got over it. She got like a PhD. She did all this stuff. She's on no pills, everything. And it's just great. But you were telling me a beautiful mind, a beautiful truth.
The beautiful truth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basic. It talks about the Gerson therapy.
Okay.
And the Gerson therapy, Dr. Gerson, back in the day, he was the first guy that was like started to mainstream juice therapy, using fruits and vegetables through juices.
I've heard of the Gerson therapy.
Yes.
I thought it was like a remediation from cancer or something like that.
It pretty much is like, and it doesn't just go for cancer. It goes
It's
for
for everything. Because the veggies are so healing.
The veggies are so healing. The body.
I was just recommending to my ex-coworker yesterday. He's recovering from stage 4 cancer right now.
Yeah.
I was just telling him juicing.
That's where
And
it's at.
honestly, I was telling him if he can get his hands on, I told him I can bring him some, but I don't think he wants them because he has to cross the border. He goes to TJ. But the fan leaves the marijuana plant.
Yes.
The incredible healing, tremendous power. I've seen documentaries on CNN. Just incredible testament of the healing powers.
And that's another thing I try to advertise to people. Like, well, I mean, I personally don't have a problem with using any type of hemp product. I'm like, give it to me, the more the better. But, you know, there's a lot of, there's a stigma behind, you know, marijuana right now, still that kind of doom. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still kind of there with a lot of people where, oh, it's a drug, like, I don't want that in my system. Who knows what'll happen. But when it comes to medicinal purposes, all that should be thrown out the window because, one, they can make stuff to where it doesn't get you high or anything. If that's what people are worried about.
And that's what I'm talking about. The fan leaves don't get you high.
The fan leaves don't get
just
you high.
Healing properties.
It's just healing properties. It's a plant. It's an herb from Mother Earth. It's a gift from God.
It's the healing of the nation.
It's the healing of a nation. And there's people that benefit from, you know, all these corporations in the health industry that they know for a fact that if marijuana is legalized across the board all over the U.S., all their profits are going to go down at least half. At least.
And because of that, they intentionally suppress this information.
Exactly.
In which we're celebrating this information, spreading and trying to activate the attention and listening capacity of everybody who comes in contact with this video.
Indeed.
So, you know, go out and do your research and check it out. CNN's got some amazing documentaries. But back to the Gerson therapy, which is what you were talking about, juicing.
Yeah.
Which is another incredibly powerful formulation of God's fruits and veggies and herbs.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, because, I mean, it takes all the elements, you know, to raise a tree and to bear fruit. You need the air, you need the water, you need the earth, and a little bit of fire for God's spirit.
And also, what I was discovering about this incredible book series that everybody should look up, The Teachings of Anastasia from Russia. You've heard of her?
Yes, I've heard of her.
Yeah, and her connection to the plants and everything. And she's talking about these plants they're all antennas and receptacles for cosmic energy, celestial energies that bombard a plant, and they are all tuned in to these higher frequencies, and they receive and they also some of them they store this tremendous depth of energy and frequencies. And so when we ingest them or when we have these plants in our presence, not only, you know, ingesting them physically, but assimilating their energy astrally.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
then it has a divine impact on us and of a higher nature, I believe. And it's almost like a restructuring of our own soul or rekindling of our kinship and communion with these divine species that made the way for life on Earth so that we could have oxygen to breathe and a beautiful environment to celebrate God in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Man.
Shoot. But yeah, I mean, the Gerson therapy, like, he actually died because of his research.
He was killed or he died?
He was killed.
He was murdered.
He was murdered because of his research.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Like many others.
Like many others. And thank God to this day we have documentaries, we have internet now.
I think that's probably one of the reasons I've heard of him, because of that.
Me too. If it wasn't for Netflix, dude, like, there's so many documentaries out there that I've watched,
I love Netflix.
and I'm just like, thank God for it, because I seriously look at the world a whole different way, and I don't scare people by presenting, or
Doom and gloom, and also demonizing things.
Yeah, exactly. I bring about solutions too, because in the documentaries they give you the problem, they give you the solution, how to fix it.
You're results oriented.
Exactly. So now the next step is just to educate everybody, get awareness around. Once you get everyone's awareness and education up on the matters that need attention, problems are solved.
And part of this solution and answers is the psychological ones that deal with confronting the addictive nature of not only man but all animals and mammals. We have inherent addictive characteristics within us, and if we really want to get to that next level of pleasure, insight, inspiration, and divine will, we're gonna have to give up and sacrifice some of these things that we've been addicted to for longer than we can imagine, not only in this life but our forefathers' lives, our ancestors' lives. We've been in this cycle of pain, struggle, and war here on Earth for a long time, and it's conditioned the cells of our body, the DNA within the chromosomes.
Yeah.
It's literally conditioned us to a point where we need to develop very serious levels of discipline through daily communing with higher nature, which is a disciplinary nature. Meditation, correct eating, celebration, inner attitude, environment, affirmations, not running from things that are contrary to your sense of identification, not being averted by things, but accepting everything how it is and making an effort to improve it and yourself and your relation to it. I think that's what we all need.
Dude, I love how you put things, bro. It's just so dead on. You take what I think and you just put it into words. So that's probably like why we're together right now.
Oh, for sure. I knew that right away on the trail, man.
Yeah.
It was dead on, and that's what happens too. Like when you start to give up and surrender, it's this really, to me, what it's become in my life is a surrendering, allowing these aspects of my persona and personality that no longer serve me, that were not serving me, that were steeped deep within ignorance. I'm letting those things die a glorious death, really.
Yes.
And the more that I surrender to this higher nature, the more that God brings Renee and other people in beautiful circumstances into my life, and it's just like synchronicity and divine splendor, and one great success to the next without effort, simply being in the presence of divine order, insight, and allowing that higher force to work within, through, and without you, even without you. Lots of times it's necessary to be neutral and step back from a situation, or to stop feeding your energy to certain things, like many of these negative addictions that a lot of us have. A lot of us are addicted to attention or the need for approval from others, instead of finding our own sense of expression and creativity within us, in which we are in contact with when we were a child. That was much more part of our experience, and as we grew up, we learned to be complacent with these cultural ideals and acceptable realms of behavior and activity that we're said that we're told to live within these rules and regulations. Well, what I've found and what I'm learning is that spirit has no rules and regulations. It's unlimited, it's free, it goes in all directions. It's expressive, it's creative, it's results oriented. it's uplifting, it's enlightening, it's ascending, it's you know, it's all that you can think of and more. It's beautiful.
It's so I agree 100% with them. 100%. Like when you just surrender and you let him, do the composing or the planning. I'm blown away every day. Just like this right here. Like my mom this morning, she was like, "Hey, what's up with your buddy?" I'm like, "What buddy?" It's like the one you met on the hike. And instantly I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You did say you live down here." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna text him up or whatever." And I text you. I'm like, "Oh, you could be working today or whatever." Like I didn't know what your schedule was like. I was like, shoot, I'll just text you, see what happens. And then you're like, "Hey man, can you meet in like 30 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it."
Dude, and you woke me up. You got a nice early start to the morning. That dedication, devotion to living and being here now. And what do we got to offer today?
Yeah, and he took me to this temple and we prayed, and that's like that's probably the best way to start a day right there.
Oh, it was so beautiful. We prayed and we meditated for a whole hour. We got a little bit of grounding, which I kind of needed today because I was surprisingly, since I only got 5.5 hours of sleep last night, he woke me up and I was just like up and inspired this morning. I had a lot of energy and I still do, and I'm kind of floaty a little bit right now, so I could still use a little bit more of that grounding and meditation. It helped.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely gonna try to stay grounded today and focused and engaged in my work and taking care of all my responsibilities and my duties. And also simultaneously celebrating the gift that we got in front of us.
The here and now, man.
Another beautiful day to grow and to learn and to serve others.
Yeah, I agree, 100%, brother. 110.
I've been feeling fulfilled, man. I feel like God's pouring my cup over, like, and this is overflowing
in abundance.
Well, yeah, this liquid that's overflowing comes in the form of Renee, this great guy. You know what I mean? It comes in the form of we've been getting more customers at work.
Yes.
It comes in the form of I've been improving my relationship with my mom and my sister and my dad.
Amen.
And my brother.
Amen.
And this is just overflowing, and I talked to a bum. I brighten his day. He's motivated to go a little bit further. I don't know, it's flowing. It's everywhere. It's around you. It's just you gotta focus and concentrate on it and discipline yourself to be attuned with it. That's where I'm at right now, and it's, no matter what level you're at, it's just always go to the next one.
Yeah, we're always growing. It never stops. I haven't hit a point to where like God's like, all right, you're done. Like,
well, as long as I am living, that'll be my definition of the vocabulary term life. The definition, the meaning, to me, what I have learned is that life equals growth. If you look at all things, the cells are multiplying, they're duplicating. And it's only when these cells duplicate and their duplication is retarded, when the genetic code is broken or degraded, that is what we call the process of aging. And when we can overcome that through nutrition and mental discipline, then our cells will replicate perfectly, indefinitely, and will live to be to the point of boredom where we've seen everything and done it, and to where we're willing to leave, and we leave peacefully, and our death is a celebration of our life that we lived and the accomplishments we made. And it's not a sad, sorrowful thing at all. It's just a celebration.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Die of an old nature, become a new nature.
I feel like a lot of parts of myself have died, and I've surrendered those parts of myself, and a lot of those parts that I think are dying and I'm letting them go have been of an addictive nature, not just to addictive circumstances or material things, but addictions to concepts as well. Just, you know what I mean? I'm actually trying to break the definition barrier myself, you know what I mean? just because a word's supposed to mean something. No, each word has unlimited context, application, and definition and meaning, and I've been so divinely inspired lately. Like I've been meditating and just having internal dialogue with myself, and I'm finding that just God's speaking to me in phrases, and they rhyme, and they go together, and they're like synchronistic, and it's like poetry in motion, and I'm like, wow, and like I'm just like uplifted, especially we were talking about fasting. I especially get these revelations when I fast, and it's like everything comes to me and it makes sense. And not only does it make sense, it rhymes and it sounds beautiful, and it's like poetry.
Yes.
And I'm like, what a gift! This is all words that already existed before I lived. So it's not something that I created. It's something that was gifted to me, And I think that's really at the root of a lot of people's suffering, is this sense of having, this addiction to possession. And that's one of the main addictions that I'm allowing myself to surrender, getting rid of. It's just, this is not my car, this is not my body. It's just, I surrender it all. This is the Lord's car. This is the Lord's body. This is the Lord's money. These things are all going to the will of the Lord. And when you can really surrender yourself like Jesus did and be selfless, it's really the pleasure, the fulfillment that you're seeking to serve others. Really, that's really what you're looking for. That's the blueprint. That's your DNA. That's where you come from. That's where you're going. Invariably, whatever path you choose to take. Some paths are longer, and some paths involve the technique that goes straight technique, direct experience of God, in which I've had a few, I would call supernatural experiences, and the hand of God was bestowed upon me, and Renee has shared some of those experiences with me. I've met many wonderful people, spiritually inclined people, who are endowed with the experience of the divine firsthand, and they don't speak from these facts and figures and definitions that mean nothing unless you've experienced them and realized them for yourself. They don't mean anything unless unless you're in a state of knowing. Yeah, they say gravity works like this, and gravity works like that, and this works like that, but you don't know until you've realized it, and you don't realize something until who you are is changed and transformed by the knowledge and information that you realize when the actual process of learning occurs. And it's a restructuring of the very nature in which you are related to your soul. For me, your soul is changeless, eternal, endless. It already has all the repositories of information and experience and memories of all possibilities ever conceived of or capable of being conceived of. All that already exists within your soul now. It's only a matter of where you intersect and connect and reconnect with that soul. And the more depth and richness and vastness that you're willing to take that through levels of discipline, study, devotion, whatever your technique may be, expression. The more richness and depth that you can bring to others and share with them, and not only do you feel for yourself, but your feeling is multiplied and expanded, so that you're not only feeling what you feel, but you feel what other people feel. You begin the process of empathy. You become an empath of the world. You become the light of the world. You're able to bear the burdens that so many bear through the process of ignorance. And one of the main processes, not the only process of ignorance, but one of the main ones, the root of a lot of evil, in my opinion, is this sense of possession, of having. And it's this pursuit of having instead of giving back.
I want that new cell phone. I want that new computers coming out. I want that new car coming out. The Americans, this is our lives day in and day out.
And don't get me wrong. Those things are not bad. They're not the devil.
Yeah.
And if everybody loved money, we'd all be rich. Yeah. However, that's the point. We need to spread the wealth. We need overabundance for everybody. Exactly. Are you not worthy of that new phone? Are you not worthy of that new car? Make it happen. Be inspired. Be motivated. and share this inspiration, motivation, knowledge, and dedication with others. And let's all create wealth, richness, and abundance, and communion, and heaven on earth. That's why we're here. We should be working like this together. We should not be fighting. We should not be, struggling. We should all be in divine communion with each other and with that which is beyond the sense organs of this body, which has unlimited variables but exists within domains of limitation. We are meant to go beyond the body. We're meant to go beyond the flesh. I'm learning, I've been so inspired lately that I'm learning, through the process of inspiration and motivation. I'm not in the flesh. I'm in spirit. I'm inspired. I'm living in spirit, and the capacities and limitations of the flesh are expanded and transcendent. And I achieve and assimilate new capacities more easier when I'm in the state of inspiration and being in the state of spiritual knowledge, communion with God, devotion, attention, concentration, powerful application.
Yes.
There's a little bit of
on fire.
Right, a little bit of like rhyming stuff is going on right now too. And it's not me. I'm giving up myself, and I'm allowing the Spirit to flow unobstructed. I'm not obstructing it by having any of these ideas. They're not mine to have anyway. They're a gift.
Yeah.
And the only appropriate response is to receive this gift and to acknowledge its higher source from where it came, and to give back to that higher source. And that's really kind of the path that I'm on. And it's not easy, and the ego is very delusive and divisive. There's also the higher ego, which is unifying. It's also maybe referred to as your conscience. All it requires is attention, concentration, focus, devotion. And it's already there. Everybody knows the difference between right and wrong. I don't have to tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
It's it's just a matter of inspiration, motivation, application, and also technique. There are techniques. I'm learning about yoga. It's proved to be tremendously beneficial in my life. I'm applying a lot of the concepts, and I'm seeing the results. And there are techniques that will take you straight. And I'm very blessed. I just found this temple recently, and I'm reconnecting my relationship to meditation. I was meditating every day for an hour, and haven't been doing that because my work dynamic has changed. But now, when I'm able to discipline myself enough to take advantage of the free resource that this temple represents, which is available to everybody, I've been waking up and surrounding myself in a beautiful environment with beautiful people, and I just close my eyes and I let go of everything. I don't have anything. I let go of everything. I still my mind. I silence my thoughts, and I perceive and enjoy bliss at a conscious level. I think we're always in bliss, no matter what. We all have a connection to bliss, to God. It's just we're not always conscious and aware of it. And I think that's why when we sleep, we reconnect, and it's like it refuels us, it recharges us.
Yeah, I deeply believe that. I feel like we have almost as if we have a cord we plug into an outlet to the whole, to the heavens, to recharge our soul real quick so we could operate on this realm another day.
I think the dimensions of activity we venture into when we sleep and dream, and not only dream, but when we're unconscious, there's 4 stages of dreaming. At the bottom stage, where there's no consciousness at all, the consciousness is withdrawn. I think that those are some of the higher levels, and it's like giving up everything. The process of meditation, for me, one of the ways that I meditate in a passive state, where I'm not thinking of anything, is I realize that I cannot truly equivalate God to anything. No concept, no idea, no word, no image can be equivalated to God. And so in that line of thought, in that line of thinking, I'm able to dismiss all of my thoughts. I'm able to acknowledge them and allow them to go, without attempting to possess them or letting them run on with anything I choose to I don't choose to identify with them. I'm only identifying with the Supreme, which cannot be equated to any words or anything.
Yeah.
And that has helped me tremendously. And when I do achieve those states of internal silence, and I guess you could call it no mind. I don't think I'm really there where I'm at the point of no mind yet, but I have received like a dreamlike condition where I was awake. I received one time these images, and not only images, but experience of these two beautiful women who are looking back at me, and they're holding this beautiful blue light, almost like they're holding a baby, I guess. And I'm not sure the meaning of what it is, but I have faith, not belief, a faith, an unwavering faith. Belief is transitory. Faith is enduring. It's eternal. I have a faith that the meaning of this and the meaning of many other things that have been shown to me will come. And I think that's kind of how it works as humans. We need to be humble. We are limited, and only a little bit at a time comes. And as we're ready, we can assimilate. And it is getting to the point in my life where it's getting to be leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I'm starting to, instead of taking those spiritual steps, I'm taking like spiritual leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not because I'm trying. It's gotten to the point where I'm just allowing. I'm not trying. I'm allowing. I'm just surrendering. Complete surrender.
Yeah.
And the more I'm capable of surrendering, the bigger the leaps and bounds, the greater the success. The more customers I get at work, the more smiles I see on my customers' faces. Just the more positive experiences that I realize and co-create.
Yeah.
The more responsible I'm being, and the less averted I am to duty and responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing. We live in a world with so much suffering. If you're contributing to that suffering, you got to stop and look at the bigger picture and realize that others are suffering much more than you, and that you should stop your addiction to this suffering, and you should give it up and surrender it, and be a part of something bigger, and that includes sacrifice. You need to devote yourself to being responsible, not only for yourself, but for your community, for your city, for your state, for your government, for the welfare of others,